Stress management. I remember when I was a corporate trainer in corporate America for years and teaching leadership classes. And we had a group of classes, and some of those classes were conflict resolution, time management, delegation, some sort of basic contract negotiation and stuff. And of course, it was always stress management. Because we recognize as a leader of an organization, as a leader of a department, a group, or any function in the organization, you needed to deal with stress. There's a lot of work that's required to be in that leadership position, but there are also people that are following you, that are taking leadership direction from you, that are relying on you to be at your very best, and you have to manage your stress. And the great thing about that was, number one, we recognized that we didn't ignore stress. We knew it existed. It's funny, a lot of times in the Christian community, we got these cute saying, I'm too blessed to be stressed and all this other stuff. And stop with that. Stress exists. Even you, Mr. and Mrs. John Q or Jane Q Christian, stress exists. And it's important to deal with it, to manage it. Because if you don't, it'll manifest itself in you physically. In your body, you may lose weight or you may gain weight. Your hair may start falling out or start thinning. And your skin, you may have issues with your skin and so forth. They have breakouts or whatever. And then, of course, you may be irritable or grumpy and just hard to deal with. Stress is very important. And if you want to be successful, you have to learn to manage it. So I got a couple things. I actually got 3 things real quick, and we'll get out of here with this. The first thing is very important. The first thing is critical and important to managing your stress is you got to recognize it exists. Can't go with the too blessed to be stressed and act like it doesn't exist. You can't live with your head buried in the sand like things don't happen. You're not going through a situation. You're not dealing with, you're being stressed. You're being attacked. The enemy is coming after you and you feel stress. So how do we handle that? Again, recognizing that it exists, not trying to ignore it or put it off as something else, looking dead in the mirror and saying, you know what, I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I have to find a way to deal with this. The second thing, once you recognize it exists and once you acknowledge it, then you have to find those trigger points, find those stressors, if you will, the things that are causing the stress, whether it's work-related stress or ministry-related stress or financial stress. The areas that are sort of pushing you to that point where you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like you may even be defeated, where that stress is starting to come upon you. And when you find those triggers and those stressors, now you're in a better place to deal with them and overcome them. Which leads to my third and final point. Once you find them, identify those items, you have to find a physical releaser for those stress, a physical outlet to get rid of that stress. For me, a major thing is working out. It's hitting the gym, using that workout, getting that energy out of that relieving that stress. For others, it may be reading, getting your favorite book and sitting down somewhere and blocking out the rest of the world and just reading that book. Could be music, putting your headphones on and just, like I said, blocking out the rest of the world, getting caught up in that music. But the other part of it that's important, that should be important to all of us, prayer and meditation. Prayer, seeking God's face to identify how I can deal with the stress better, how I can overcome the stress. And meditating is just yourself, just being there, blocking out everything. No TV, no music, no other people. Just meditating on what's going on in your life and trying to get to a better place. Stress is very, very real. It's not something that doesn't exist and we can try to ignore it. It's real. Because if we're not careful, it'll overcome us. And then we'll find negative outlets for our stress. We'll turn to things like drinking or bad relationships and other things that are negative, that are bringing us down. And in order to deal with the stress, in order to overcome it and manage it, you have to acknowledge it, that it exists. Find the stressor points. Find the triggers that cause you to feel stress. And then find that physical outlet that will allow you to relieve that stress. Your choice to be successful and to be great. But you got to learn to deal with that stress to be at your very best. I was there, I could have this moment.